You know that feeling, right? That sinking pit in your stomach, the heat that just rushes to your face, that overwhelming urge to just evaporate? We have all been there. It's that universal human experience of awkwardness, and today we're going to dive into the surprising science behind why it hurts so much and, believe it or not, why it might actually be a good thing. So let's break down the science of what makes us all cringe.
Okay, picture this. You see a hand go up across the room, you give him a big, friendly wave back, and then that slow, dawning horror washes over you. They weren't waving at you, and your hand just kinda drops. It's a classic for a reason, but trust me, we're just getting started.
I mean, we are all card-carrying members of this club. There's the classic, you too, when a waiter says, enjoy your meal. The unforgettable moment you accidentally called your third-grade teacher mom. That laugh that just bursts out at the absolute worst possible time. Or that heart-stopping second you realize you sent a very personal text to the wrong person. Yeah.
But the moment itself, that's only half the battle. The real torture comes later, doesn't it? When it's like 2:37 in the morning, and your brain decides, for no good reason, to play a high-definition, slow-motion instant replay of that cringy moment from 10 years ago.
So why does a tiny little social slip-up feel so absolutely massive? Well, it turns out your brain is basically wired to overreact. Let's get into the deep, evolutionary reason why a small mistake can feel like a 5-alarm fire.
So this all boils down to something called a social threat. See, thousands and thousands of years ago, our survival literally depended on fitting in with our tribe. Getting kicked out or rejected wasn't just embarrassing, it was a death sentence. So our brains developed this super sensitive alarm system to stop us from making social mistakes at all costs.
And you can see that chain reaction play out perfectly. So, step 1, the social error. You tell a joke, and you just hear crickets, nothing. Instantly, your brain goes, uh-oh, threat detected. It frantically scans the room for a smile, a nod, anything positive, and comes up empty. And that's when the alarms go off in your body. Your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and your brain just turns to static.
Deep down in that ancient primal part of your brain, there's just one urgent message firing over and over and over. Careful, don't get rejected. That's the feeling. It's not just embarrassment. It's a genuine primal fear.
Okay, but here's where we can all just take a deep breath. Because while that internal alarm feels incredibly real, the threat it's screaming about, well, it's probably not really there. We have this massive tendency to overestimate our own social blunders.
Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called the spotlight effect. It's this built-in feeling that we're the main character on a giant stage, and there's a huge spotlight following our every single move, highlighting every little mistake for the whole world to see. But the reality? Most of the audience isn't even paying attention.
Let's just break this down. In your reality, your inner monologue is screaming, oh my God, everyone is watching me, everyone is judging me, they all think I'm an idiot. But in their reality, they're probably busy thinking about that time they did something awkward last week. They're the stars of their own movie, you know? They're not focused on the extras in theirs.
So if nobody's really paying that much attention, why do we feel it so intensely? Well, the story doesn't end there. Because what if I told you that intense feeling of awkwardness, what if it's actually a kind of superpower? That's right, we're about to flip this whole thing on its head. Feeling awkward isn't a sign that you're failing socially. A lot of the time, it's actually a sign of really high social intelligence.
I mean, just think about it. What does it actually take to feel awkward? It takes social awareness. It means you're actually paying attention. You're noticing those tiny little shifts in a room's energy. You're picking up on body language, and, most importantly, you care about how other people are feeling. That sensitivity, that's not a flaw, that's the root of empathy. And here's the really wild part. The people who just bulldoze through life without ever feeling a single moment of awkwardness, a lot of the time it's because they're just not paying attention. They are completely oblivious to the social cues that you're so keenly tuned into. And this brings us to what I think is the most beautiful part of this whole thing. Awkwardness isn't some bug we need to fix. It's not something to be ashamed of. It is one of the most powerful, most relatable parts of being human.
Just let that one sink in for a second. We don't really connect with people who seem perfect, do we? It's intimidating. We connect with people who stumble over their words, who tell a bad joke, who trip over their own feet. We connect over our imperfections. That's where the real human connection happens.
So let's be clear. True confidence is not about being so smooth and so perfect that you never have an awkward moment. That's impossible. Real confidence is having the grace to just smile, maybe laugh at yourself, and move on when those moments happen. It's knowing you're human, and that is more than okay.
And you know what? Since we are all in this together, let's make this a team sport. It is time to embrace the cringe.
If anything we talked about today really resonated with you, if it made you feel just a little bit more seen in your most awkward moments,
And then do us a favor and hit that like button. It really lets us know that we're on the right track, and it helps other people find this too.
And now for the main event. Let's make the comments section a judgment-free zone for our shared cringe. What is that one awkward memory that your brain just will not let go of? Drop it in the comments below. Let's all have a laugh and realize just how not alone we really are. And hey, if you enjoyed digging into the science of what makes us tick, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for hanging out, and here's to embracing your next wonderfully, beautifully awkward moment.